Hey writers and editors, I was having lunch with a writer friend of mine a few weeks ago, and we were talking about long hours in the chair, especially when you're in the middle of a writing project or a deep editing project, and the danger of developing writer's butt. So I thought that I would do a quick video for you guys and show you just one of my regular routines that I do, especially on days of inclement weather when I can't get out and take a hike or go for a run or get on my mountain bike. So this is just a really quick thing, and it will help counteract that writer's butt. And of course, a strong core that's just a principle of life. If you have a strong core, then everything else goes around that. So the great thing about this is that while it's core, but it also works out the butt and the legs. So let me just say, I am not a fitness instructor, and so some of my form may be not exactly right. So of course, seek the advice of a personal trainer or somebody who's been trained in that. If you're new to exercise, this is just for informational purposes to give you a little bit of an idea of what you can do. And the great thing about this is that you can do this in a very small space. So this is my office / home. I live in a very small space, and I can do this no problem, as you will see. So I'll just get into it and you can see what I do. And typically this takes anywhere from like 7 to 10 minutes a day. I'm not going to do all the reps that I normally do, but this is something that you could hop up out of your chair a couple times a day, bang out a few of these, and you'll be just fine. So I typically start with planks. Again, just holding my core in, tightening my legs, my butt, everything else without trying too hard. And I typically do this until my arms and my body starts to fatigue. You'll get the shakes, and that's a good time to stop. And you can do a little downward dog here just to kind of stretch it out. And then you can go right back into a plank, or the other thing I do is push-ups. Now I'm doing, girl push-ups, but who cares? It gets your arms and your back nice and tight. So don't feel like you have to prove anything. This is just for yourself. So no shame. All right. The slower you do these, the better. You put more stress on your body and you'll feel it. So again, do what feels right for you. And holding in your core, of course. Okay, then I typically go back into plank here, and I'll do a couple reps of that. Little downward facing dog. And then back up. Like I said, I'm not going to do a full routine of that for you guys. All right, abs, our favorite / least favorite. Okay, again, and a yoga mat is a great thing to do. By the way, you can do these with or without an exercise ball or a medicine ball. I think this is a 3-pounder, maybe a 5-pounder, but I got these noodle arms, so the smaller size for me works just fine. All right, and again, I'm not saying that this is going to be our only exercise routine. So mountain biking also is amazing for upper body strength, by the way. All right, so I typically start with, I don't know what these are called, bicycles maybe? And I do about 30 of those, and then I switch to these things. So those work, all the rest of this. And then this exercise really works that lower part of your abdomen, just above your pubic bone, kind of the pubic bone to the belly button thing here. So you'll really feel these if you're doing them right.
and it's a very small move. So just pull up and lift your butt off of the mat without pulling on your head. You're just using your arms really to keep your arms busy. And I always feel these all the way up the side of my body when I start to do more of them. All right, now this one you might not be able to do straight away if you're new to these kind of exercises, but it's kind of a Pilates move, modified boat pose kind of thing. So I put my legs straight here, my abs are in, and my backbone is on the mat, and then I just hold my arms like this. And I'll tell you, that one's really hard for me. My legs are shaking, but it works like all of this. And again, that core, you're getting that butt, but we're going to move on to like some serious butt exercises here in just a second. All right, so there's that one. And then again, for a little bit more core work, you can do this twist. One. All right, that one's brutal. That hurts, but it hurts so good. Part of why I'm adding abs in with this, like I said, it does help. You're engaging your butt muscles and your thighs and stuff when you do those. But you know, if you're gonna have a great butt, it looks nice to have a flat ab. So if you're doing it for I don't know, maybe vanity purposes, that's another incentive. All right, let's hit these butt ones here now that we're warmed up. All right, so this one, again, I don't know what this is called, but so straight up, you're gonna tighten your butt and push up, and then down. And I always have to remind myself not to lean and rock into that other hip, to try to keep firmly planted on the other three, my arms and my legs. I typically try to count those, and so that I'm doing an even number on each side. And then I do it until I feel fairly fatigued. All right, so okay. Now, I'm going to show you another one that I think is awesome for the legs and the butt, and then I'm going to recommend, well, right now I'll recommend another one. If you have stairs in your house or on your front porch, you can go outside and put the balls of your feet on the stair and then do those lifts up and down here. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if this was our stair, you're going to put your feet on the edge here and just do these leg lifts, and then dip your heels down just a little bit, up and down until you're fatigued, which it doesn't take long at all. So don't, if you're just starting, don't be embarrassed by this. Okay, this is something from my ballet days, and I believe they're called rond de jambe, which means around the world. And these are amazing. So plant your feet. We don't need to be in full first position for ballet. Just plant your foot, and actually you can even keep your foot straight like this. And this is good for balance. And on this one, we're going to be working this leg. So point forward, come all the way around to like, so this is noon, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, back through, noon, 3, 6, and just do that. I typically start with 20 of those on the one side, and then I switch and do the other side, So again, the trick here is to not rock into that other hip, to stay straight. And then you can keep your foot just a tiny bit off the floor, just barely brush the floor. And what that forces your grounding leg to do is keep its balance. So you're working all of those little muscles up and down the legs. Okay? This also works your calves. So this one is like a whole leg workout, and I find that I sometimes wear heels. So this one keeps my ankles and my feet flexible. And you may be more flexible or less flexible than I am. So don't worry about that. Now, the other thing that you can do when you're done with those, oh, I don't think I showed you this. Okay, so we started this way. So when you do your sets of those, then you go the other way, go backwards, 6, 3, noon, and work the back. So you're going to get a stretch, a nice stretch on the front. And you'll find that while you're tightening one side, you're stretching the other. And then you can do side leg lifts. This one is really brutal. And again, don't go crazy. Like, don't worry about how flexible or inflexible you are. Just go as high as you can and stay controlled. Okay? And then the other side. And then when you want to sit down and maybe do a little stretch, just get in, your cross-legged lotus pose, I think, and just do a little stretch. So again, this is not something that is a full workout, but as you see, it can go very quickly, and you can do as many sets as you want, depending on what I have time for, or I'm focusing on that day. I just will do a couple rounds of those, but I think 3 is a nice thing to do. So there you go. A little easy thing that you can do to fight off writer's butt.